Drug reform is an increasingly hot topic in the media and in public perception, with more and more people pushing for support not punish systems and market regulation to be implemented in the UK and internationally. However, many corporations and NGOs aren't engaging in and around this topic as much as we would want, and it is important to try and understand and dissect why this is. When discussing the risks related to drugs and drug policy, conversation tends to steer towards the risks for individual users. Now, this is of course vital to consider. However, there is also a significant risk for those looking to get involved in drug policy dialogue on an individual and organisational level. The reputational risk associated with taboo topics, including drug policy, can lead to key players sitting out of or withdrawing from the discourse surrounding our current drug policy climate. In this video presentation, I'll be discussing the role of reputational risk as a barrier to entry into these conversations surrounding drug policy, and how we can tackle this problem now and in the future to engage more players and encourage more players to become involved in drug policy discussions and reform. The first things that we should discuss are what reputation is and why exactly it is important. A great definition of reputation was given by Jenny Rayner in her book, Managing Reputational Risk. It states that reputation is based on a collection of beliefs and perceptions about an organisation or individual. A quote by Andrew Farrow expands this, who states, "Much like beauty, reputation is down to perception and can be influenced by a number of pressure groups and social groups, such as wider public perception, media perception and coverage, and pressure groups." Several factors are often considered by companies when looking at partnering with, purchasing from, looking for employment with, or supplying to different organisations. These are 1. Emotional appeal. How does the company make you feel? Do you have any respect and admiration for the company, its products and ethos? Do you trust the company? 2. Products and services. What products and services does it produce? What are the quality and quantity of the products and services? Is there room for future growth in this market? 3. Financial performance. Is there a history of profitability? Is it a low-risk investment? Is there a high opportunity for future growth? Does it outperform its competitors? 4. Vision and leadership. What is the quality of leadership like? What is the company's vision for the future? Does it recognise and take advantage of market opportunities? 5. Workplace environment. Does it look like a good company to work for? Does it look like a company that would have good employees? 6. Social responsibility. Does it support good causes? Is it environmentally friendly? And does it behave responsibly towards the people in the community in which it operates? This is not a completely comprehensive list. There are nearly an infinite number of factors that go into influencing reputation. But these are the main categories, and we can already pick out a few that would be affected by a company getting involved in drug policy lobbying. Particularly, emotional appeal. How does the company make you feel? Do you have admiration for the company, its products and ethos? Financial performance. Is it a low-risk investment? Vision and leadership. What is the company's vision for the future? And social responsibility. Does it support good causes? The wider public perception on drug use is that it's bad. Those that campaign for legalisation, market regulation and decriminalisation are immoral. Many organisations will want to avoid this perception for a number of reasons. It may limit investment into their company or decrease their influence in other areas. For charities and NGOs, this may inhibit their lobbying in other regions and topics, and the stigma attached to their drug policy activism bleeds over into their professional reputation. For those for-profit organisations, it may limit their returns as people boycott their products over differences in views, and may also limit their investments as investors worry about the long-term safety of their investment. Reputation is crucial for nearly every organisation and every individual on the planet. It can be what gets people jobs, and it can be what prevents partnerships from forming. Companies with good reputations are much more likely to be safe during times of economic instability and come out of scandals much better than those with poor or neutral reputations. Reputation is a key and tangible asset. It can add value to a company by opening doors, increasing engagement, and improving performance and influence. So how can reputation act as a barrier to engaging in drug policy debate and reform lobbying? Organisations may be concerned about the reputational risks associated with lobbying, especially when lobbying more controversial topics. Becoming involved in such a dialogue poses a risk for companies' reputations. This is known as reputational risk, where the potential for negative publicity or negative public perception has an adverse effect on companies' reputation and then performance. This is reputational risk. Stakeholders may reassess the emotional appeal, vision and leadership, and social responsibility of an organisation and how it relates to their own morals. For organisations who lobby for decriminalising and legalising illicit drugs, it may cause investors and stakeholders to withdraw support and partnership from the company. This withdrawing of support, loss in influence, and loss in opportunity may inhibit companies who see value in engaging in drug reform discourse from doing so. Well, a moral narrative has been constructed around drug use and drug debates. Those that use drugs are bad and those that abstain from use are good. This narrative that has been built around drug use and drug discussions paints drug users as delinquents who are bad people and worthless to society. This in turn leads to moral disengagement. Why bother helping people who are inherently bad and who won't help themselves? Which leads people to just check out of drug debates. As well as this, news reports and coverage of these topics often incite moral panic when discussing drug use. This is where language used in coverage and reports reflects and incites public anxiety or alarm, resulting from viewing drug use and drug policy reform as a problem which threatens the moral standards of our society. This moral panic has been institutionalised through our use and promotion of prohibitionist legislation and abstinence-only education. So what can we do about this? Well, the first way that we can address the issue is through destigmatising topics of drug use, misuse, and drug reform, which should mitigate the moral panic which surrounds this discourse. This, in turn, would contribute to removing the reputational risk associated with participating in reform discourse. Really easy ways to combat stigma include educating yourselves and those around you on scientific facts that surround addiction and drug use. Leave behind old ideas about who uses drugs and why through moving away from the just say no prohibitionist and abstinence only education. Increasing awareness and changing the conversation surrounding drugs and policy reform will hopefully prevent the backlash organisations face when lobbying for reform. As public perceptions surrounding the issues aren't as negative, hopefully more people will engage in this topic. Showing businesses that engaging in drug reform debates and lobbying isn't actually as harmful and damaging as they project it to be should help encourage them to participate further. The more people involved, the more destigmatised it will get. Ultimately, the more people engaging in drug reform dialogues can only be a good thing. We should try to be encouraging businesses and NGOs to participate in discussions, so mitigating reputational risk and moral panic is vital. Thank you for watching this video presentation. I hope you've enjoyed it and learned something about how vital it is to engage more companies in discussions surrounding drug reform and drug use and misuse, and the things that we can do as individuals to help mitigate the problems and barriers that stands in the way of people engaging in these conversations. Have a lovely day.